Alright, so, morning. This is
Cooking with
Marissa
and Elise.
Woo! Alright, so today, me and Elise are going to talk to you about scrumdiddlyumptious German pastry.
And we'd like to tell you about its history, how to make it, and where it's going in the world today. So,
What are we
let's go
talking
ahead and tell you.
Yeah, so what are we talking about?
Apfelstrudel! Woo!
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start with some of the brief history behind Apfelstrudel, you know, how it came about to being Apfelstrudel. So, basically, Apfelstrudel is the love child of hundreds of years of crossbreeding between Turkish, Hungarian, Croatian, and Bosnian pastries.
For example, some of the donors include baklava, Hungarian strudel, orhenjaka, and burek.
However, it wasn't until the 18th century in the Austrian Habsburg Empire where they mixed all of these different pastries together and came up with the Apfelstrudel.
After that, Apfelstrudel spread to the homes of stomachs of people in surrounding Germanic countries like the German army did.
But enough about the history behind Apfelstrudel. Let's go ahead and talk about how you conceive one of these bad boys. Oh, that's awesome. I know. You don't tell me.
The ingredients include the dough, which can either be handmade or store-bought. In this case, we bought it. 6 apples, which preferably they're green apples because they're sour. Butter, milk, cinnamon, sour cream.
It's supposed to say sour cream, by the way. Sorry.
Cream cheese would be awesome.
And my personal favorite, sugar. Yeah. Like on sugar high last night making that stuff.
Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the first couple of steps. If you want to go ahead and get out a piece of paper, if you want to write it down so you can make this, make a nice family function, make it awesome and delicious.
Yeah, pretty tasty.
Go ahead and get out a piece of paper so you can write it down. Alright, so starting with step number 1. You're going to want to preheat the oven. So you're going to want to start the oven out at 475 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to want to prepare the dough. So you're going to cover it with sour cream, roll it out a little bit, put some flour on it to make sure it doesn't stick to your cutting board or your counter or the roller, because then it messes it up and you got to throw it away and get new dough. Next, you're going to prepare the apples. So you're going to start out by decoring them. So you just get that little decor, stick that in there, swivel it around and get the core of the apple out. Then you're going to cut them and peel them. So you're going to cut them into halvesies, like Elise did, and then peel them like she's doing right there. You can either use the fancy little peeler, which is right there, or you can go old school and use the knife. So you're going to want to peel them, and then while you're peeling them, also, if you missed some of the core while you're decoring the apple, go ahead and get the nasty core out, because you don't want seeds in your strudel, or you don't want like the hard core in there either. Next, you're going to put all the apple chunks or slices. Once again, it depends on how you want it. You can either cut them into chunks or slim little paper slices. And you're going to put them in a bowl, and then you're going to mix sugar and cinnamon in the bowl with the apples. So I'm not going to give you measurements on sugar and cinnamon because some people like a lot of sugar in there. Some people like a lot of cinnamon. I personally don't like a lot of cinnamon, so I just sprinkled a little bit on it. And Elise loved a lot of sugar, so she kind of put like a crap load of sugar in there. So it's pretty good.
Get your insulin ready.
I know. Put your needles out. Alright, and then there's how you spread the sour cream on the pastry. And then you can see the mess that it causes too.
Is that apron a dirndl?
No, it's a Lederhosen.
Oh, it is like okay.
And I bought that.
I like it.
It's pretty awesome. And it's from Munich too, so very original, right? Oh, and then next you're going to place the apples on the dough and then kind of make it into like a little meatloaf of delicious apple and pastry.
Alright, the next couple steps you're going to take are you're going to roll the dough out and pinch it, or roll the second one out, because we had too big of a pastry, so we had to roll another one over it and you want to pinch it shut so that it's all the apples are going to stay inside. And you let it cook after 10 minutes, you lower the heat to 400. So what you're going to do is you're going to do it in like a stair-step motion. You're going to lower it to 400, and then you're going to put it back in a couple minutes later, and you're going to bake it for 20 minutes and lower the heat to 300. And then after 15 minutes from that, you remove it, you let it cool, and then you enjoy it.
Damn, that's what it looks
I
like.
bet.
Look at all that juicy goodness and deliciousness. It looks awesome. And then you have like a little chef baster because you baste it with butter and stuff. So that's the recipe. That's like the basics on how to make it. But you got to remember something when you're making your strudel. Strudels are like people. They're different. They're unique to how whoever's making it creates it. So some people, they like to put raisins in their strudel, which I personally think is nasty. So there's no raisins in my strudel. But some people like to put raisins in it. Some people like to make it like flat, almost like a flat little cake, instead of me like a little meatloaf strudel. Some like to eat it hot, and some like to eat it cold. And then some people, they like to, when they're doing the stair-stepping method in the oven, they like to put butter on it and baste it so you get it kind of moist, and also make it a little more crispy and browner. And another thing that some people do differently is they might put a couple teaspoons of milk over it the last 5 minutes that it's cooking, just to kind of give it more flavor and more juice, which is something I do. But again, it's to how you want to do it.
And overall, like she said, it's all about preference. What do you want in your strudel, and what do you want to add to it?
So we've gone over the history of strudel, how it started out. We've gone over how you can make your own strudel at home. But let's go ahead and talk about where the strudels come in the hundreds of years that it's since been created. First, we're going to talk about globalization. So in Texas, which is pretty far away from its Germanic borders, the Apfelstrudel is the official pastry. So it's been given a crown and a nice little title of official pastry. So the Apfelstrudel is the official pastry of Texas. Another interesting thing is that it's become so popular in Israeli cuisine that they use the at sign as a colloquial in the Hebrew language to signify Apfelstrudel. So that's pretty interesting.
Also, strudel today, it's less traditional in Germany. Many Germans don't make it from scratch anymore. Like, they don't make the dough from scratch anymore. They don't even buy the dough and then make it themselves. A lot of them just go to the store and buy it, similar to Americans going to the store and buying an apple pie on a hot summer day.
And to add on to what Elise is saying, because I know I make Apfelstrudel all the time for my Oma, and she'll talk to her sister-in-law overseas, and she'll tell her, oh yeah, Marissa made an Apfelstrudel. And they'll be like, why don't you just go buy it? Like, that's not even something the older generation does anymore. They're just kind of like, oh, buy it. It's so much easier and hassle-free instead of just making it. But some of us, once again, we like to stick with tradition on our strudel.
And aside from it being the official pastry of Texas, it's also been very Americanized in such ways as toaster strudel, which I am sure you've all heard of. The kids like, my toaster strudel versus your, one of those things.
Pop-Tart?
Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart
Yeah.
is so like.
See the difference? I do. And then it's just kind of like a kid's.
That was pretty good rendition
Yeah.
of that commercial.
Yeah.
And then we have a quick video to kind of show how it's moving away
Auch
from
ist
tradition.
der Toasterstrudel ist gut, aber Äpfel, meine Spezialität? Okay, 16 Lagen Blätterteig, saftiger, fruchtiger Füllung, fantastische Glasur. Aber Äpfelstrudel aus dem Toasten? Ha! Good. But I wouldn't try cherry if I were you.
Pillsbury apple slice toaster strudel. Cherry too.
You never toasted anything like it.
Basically, toaster strudel is the crab version.
Of the awesome,
Just
homemade,
like
traditional
everything
Apfelstrudel. So, yeah, that video just kind of reinforces the fact that it's become less of a tradition, it's become Americanized, where even if you are an American and you want to try and make something from a different cuisine, it's like, no, not really, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the toaster and make some Apfelstrudel. which is not good. So, in conclusion, as we've seen throughout the presentation, Apfelstrudel has risen from the ashes of other pastries, and it's taken the world by the apples. So, as you can see, it's a power play in the pastry world, and for that, we should respect and appreciate the strudel.
And we hope you enjoy it too, because you're getting your daily serving of fruit. And if you eat my apple strudel that I made, you get your daily serving of sugar too, or cream.
And also, just, leave class, go out to the world, and pass on the knowledge of Apfelstrudel. Where it comes from,
We can do that right now.
how to, exactly, just leave and scream on the top of your lungs. Go to the top of the LL building and just scream it about what you've learned about Apfelstrudel today. And if you want some Apfelstrudel, we actually have some in the bags, and I have plates.